This particular video is something I felt compelled to make after reflecting on my previous uploads. Okay, so I have a lot of ground to cover here, so let's just get started. So regarding my video titled The Laws of God, I just wanted to add that the 10 Commandments represent more than just the 10 laws that God gave us. I'm talking about the laws that our present government is based off of. So I just wanted to show you this. This is something I bought online, and it's the Ark of the Covenant. It makes a great conversational piece, and it's also eye-catching on any knick-knack shelf. Yeah, I really like this. Look at that. I mean, can you imagine? This may be somewhere, maybe, I don't know, maybe they got it stored away in Africa. If they build the temple in Jerusalem again, wherever this is, that's where it's going to go. And then we will see it again. Get close up. There was a time in my life when I had asked, who is this God? I don't know of any God. God is nothing to me. Well, if he's nothing to you, then yeah, you definitely don't know him. Have you tried? So, I mean, what, you don't trust the sources? In simply knowing the 10 Commandments, you will have a basic understanding of God's character and integrity. So do I feel that God's laws or teachings are burdensome or oppressive? By no stretch of the imagination. But if you were to say, oh man, the rules, there's so many rules, just lean on them, obey them. Ugh, it was so much more fun being an atheist where I didn't have to worry about all these rules. But the 10 Commandments aren't rules to me at all. Those 10 Commandments are my preferred way of life. These are simply a pinpoint of standards that God uses for himself. And I've adopted those standards for myself. What better way is there to have a relationship with God than to meet him at some even playing field, some level, a respected level of understanding? If someone's intent was to stick their finger in God's face and cast blame for every cruel and indecent act that they've seen in their life, not only would that person be completely out of line, but they would only achieve more distance from God. God is good, and only God can be truly good. And he is good all of the time. May the 10 Commandments do what they're designed to and give you that basic understanding. So you no longer have to say, who is God? They're important. And what better way is there to say that you love God than to obey him? Faith without works is dead. Now, everyone knows this, but I'm just going to say it anyway. God is the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, and the apex of all authority, of life, of death, and of everything you know. We will address him with the utmost authority and respect that he deserves. Give God the worship and respect deserving of the one who created everything. So don't disrespect his laws. When someone disrespects even one of God's commandments, that person disrespects God. So to anyone who looks at the notion of living their life for Christ as being something too far out in the left field, something unattainable, unreachable, you'd have to change too much in your life, just consider this. What are you really giving up? What is so important that you're holding on to that the Christian life can't be for you? I mean, don't I wake up and put my pants on one leg at a time just like you? What is the difference? Some Christians fit into society so well that you wouldn't even know that they were a Christian unless you were to directly ask them about their faith. See, we're talking about something unseen between you and God. See, nobody even knows I'm married unless they were to see my ring or if they were to ask me. Keep God at the forefront of your thoughts and let him affect your decision making. Pray inwardly, and if you meet other Christians, talk to them. The faith of one can strengthen another. Read some of the Bible before you go to sleep at night, and then send up a quick prayer, at least to let your problems be known to God. This is the most effective way to stir up a change. Try to fit into a church that teaches. At least that's what I've always found most effective. I love learning. I prefer a church that teaches the Bible rather than preaches on the Bible. But that maybe you would rather the preaching. And I hope you like learning, because I have so much more to show you. The things that I've learned. I'm just like that game, was it in the 80s called Rebound? Had the rubber bands and the little marbles. The word is out there. Everything is already available. You send it out there, it bounces off me and hopefully bounces to you. So if you're looking for a healing church, a healing ministry sort of church, okay. For myself though, I prefer to leave the healings to Jesus. I don't need that to believe. I just need to learn. I need to see all these miracles. Sometimes, even when Jesus was performing miracles, it made people not so much uncomfortable, but skeptical. And nobody wants to be tricked. Don't look for hands-on healings and stuff. So if you bump into someone who says that they're Jesus, but did you know the name Jesus actually means saved? And did you know that God has a new name for you and for me, and that one day he's going to reveal it to us? There's probably some new meaning behind this name, something important or something descriptive of who we are, something we can't even figure out for ourselves. Did you know in the book of Revelations it says that after Jesus has reigned on the earth for 1,000 years as our King and Lord, that God the Father is going to give Jesus Christ a new name? Nobody knows this name, not even Jesus, only God the Father. An angel gave the name Jesus to Joseph before Jesus was born. There's still another name that's going to be his. So obviously we don't know what this name is and the Bible's not telling us. If it's in there in some sort of Bible code that only a computer can decipher, well, I'll tell you this. This is what we do know. Jesus means saved. And whatever his new name is, it's not going to be saved anymore. The meaning behind his new name is going to be the Word. But we still don't know what the name is. I mean, isn't that incredible? The Bible tells us this. So what I get from that is that after Jesus reigns on earth for 1,000 years, no one on earth will need saving. Amen. So there's some information that I wanted to add regarding Jonah and the whale, and that the previous video that I made. I have some information here. I'm just gonna read this to you. So if you're ever wondering, could a fish actually swallow a man? Is what is depicted in that story of Jonah actually possible? There are at least two great monsters of the deep that could easily have swallowed Jonah. They are the sulfur bottom whale and the whale shark. Neither of these monsters of the deep have any teeth. They feed in an interesting way by opening their enormous mouths, submerging their lower jaw, and rushing through the water at a terrific speed. After straining out the water, they swallow whatever is left. A sulfur-bottom whale, 100 feet long, was captured off Cape Cod in 1933. His mouth was 10 or 12 feet wide, so big he could have easily swallowed a horse. These whales have 4 to 6 compartments in their stomachs, in any one of which a colony of men could find free lodging. They might even have a choice of rooms, for in the head of this whale is an excellent air storage chamber, an enlargement of the nasal sinus, often measuring 7 feet high, 7 feet wide, and 14 feet long. If he has an unwelcome guest on board who gives him a headache, the whale swims to the nearest land and gets rid of the offender as he did Jonah. A magazine titled The Cleveland Plain Dealer quoted this article by Dr. Ransom Harvey, who said that a dog was lost overboard from a ship. It was found in the head of the whale 6 days later, alive and barking. Frank Bullen, who wrote The Cruise of the Cathalot, tells of a shark 15 feet in length which was found in the stomach of a whale. He says that when dying, the whale ejects the contents of its stomach. The late Dr. Dixon stated that in a museum at Beirut, Syria, there is a head of a whale shark big enough to swallow the largest man that history records. He also tells of a white shark in the Mediterranean which swallowed a whole horse. Another swallowed a reindeer minus only its horns. In still another Mediterranean white shark was found a whole sea cow about the size of an ox. As you can see, these facts show that Jonah could have been swallowed by either a whale or a shark. But has any other man besides Jonah been swallowed and lived to tell the tale? We know of 2 such instances. The famous French scientist M.D. Parville writes of James Bartley, who in the region of the Falkland Islands near South America was supposed to have been drowned at sea. 2 days after his disappearance, the sailors made a catch of a whale. When it was cut up, much to their surprise, they found their missing friend alive but unconscious inside the whale. He was revived, and his story was published on August 22nd, 1891, in the Yarmouth Mercury newspaper of Great Yarmouth in England. Dr. Harry Reamer, president of Research Science Bureau of Los Angeles, writes of another case. In the Literature Digest, we noticed an account of an English sailor who was swallowed by a gigantic rhinodon in the English Channel. Briefly, the account stated that in the attempt to harpoon one of these monstrous sharks, this sailor fell overboard, and before he could be picked up again, the shark turned and engulfed him. 48 hours after the accident occurred, the fish was sighted and slain. When the shark was opened by the sailors, they were amazed to find the man unconscious, but alive. He was rushed to the hospital and found to be suffering from shock alone, and a few hours later he was discharged as being physically fit. The account concluded by saying that the man was on exhibit in a London museum at a shilling admittance fee, being advertised as the Jonah of the 20th century. In 1926, Dr. Reamer met this man, and he writes that his physical appearance was odd. His body was devoid of hair, and patches of yellowish-brown color covered his entire skin. Book of Matthew, chapter 5, verses 11 to 12. Jesus was quoted as saying, "Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of things against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." In fact, I say to anyone who has a problem with anything that I'm trying to relay here, I just say bring it on. I invite all you trolls out there to send all your comments and complaints to www.iwon'treaditanyway.com. So that concludes another video of mine, and I hope you got something very valuable out of it. Till next time, may the Lord richly bless you. Bye for now.